Hello friends, welcome back to another late night little video. My last video like this didn't really do super well, but I really like this format, so I'm going to keep doing it. And this one's a little more scripted than the last one, and I hope you enjoy it. So, I was talking to a friend about feeling very alienated from the world around me, and feeling a bit hopeless. And I told him that my escape from it all, really, is making music. I've showed that off a bit on this channel. It's something that's very important to me. And I only realized recently that it is kind of my way of breaking free from everything, in a certain sense. And that made me think a little deeper about the act of creation itself, and why creation is revolutionary. And I'll explain. Basically, capitalism is a system of consumption. Every day we have to consume, right? And that doesn't just mean buying products, but we're consuming when we're on the internet or watching the news, or even more abstractly, just when we're working. We're always focused on obtaining an external object, be that money, pleasure, you name it, right? This is the consumption of capitalism, and it degrades our souls, and it makes us deeply unhappy. And capitalism feeds on this. It is a world of complacency and comfort, where you need to avoid risk and avoid change and avoid going deeper than the surface level as much as you possibly can. Creation, on the other hand, the act of creating, is the opposite force. It turns you inward rather than focused on an external object. It immerses you in that moment of production, the vitality of production. Instead of taking in, you're putting out. And that's the essential element of life, really. The exertion of our being out into the world, right? The expression of our inner selves. And it is far from a comfortable process. It is far from just stagnancy, right? It's exciting, and it involves challenge and effort, right? And risk, very often. Even at a small scale. And most importantly, it's about change. Moving forward, improving, right? Forming new ideas, developing yourself. And this can manifest in all variety of ways. You don't have to write a book or, create a whole album, to be creating something. Even just being with your thoughts, coming up with a new idea in your head, that's creating. Even just cooking a meal for yourself or your loved ones, that's creating something, right? And we do this every day. It's an essential aspect of our lives. And these small acts of creation, while small, are still very important. And I'll point out that, as Marx famously noted, production under capitalism, especially in the workplace, is what we're talking about, is one very abstracted from this type of creation. What you create in capitalism is completely abstracted from yourself. It's often just a corporate product, a product for strangers, people you'll never see, and never meet. And most essentially, you don't actually reap the benefits of what you create. Instead, most of the wealth is funneled to the owning class above you, who you work for, right? And so this type of production is deeply alienating. Think back to cooking a meal, right? When you cook a meal, you get to eat it and watch your friends and your family eat it. And you can see and feel the tangible impact of what you've created, right? And how it stimulates and improves the lives of the people around you. And that's just not the case for for capitalist production. And I'll also say that it's very true that capitalism wants us to be tired. It wants us to be stressed and anxious and fearful, because when we're in that state, we turn to comfort, we turn to complacency. We fall right into the arms of comfort. Because after a long day at work, the last thing you want to do is exert yourself, create something new. You just want to sit back, watch TV, relax, right? Turn your brain off, as people say, right? And so what capitalism does is it creates the necessity for this type of mindless comfort, this anti-creation, right? It makes you love that and want that. But that's only needed because it has provided the conditions where you need to want that, right? The conditions where you are constantly exerting effort for a type of production that is alienating. And so I'll end this video by saying that hopefully people begin to see that creation is an essential act of our spiritual rebellion against the fabric of this system. And so all I ask of you is to go out there, create some stuff. It can be small, it can be big. Just do what you love. That's what matters. Do what makes you feel alive. That's really what we need to be doing. That's really how we get spiritual development and how we reject the spiritual degradation that we are experiencing under this system. So, that'll do it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.